1:15 p.m. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The news edited by Catherine Pereira and read by Geethanjali Ramanayaka. The headlines. A discussion was held recently to obtain a support for necessary finance and loan structuring to import fuel to the Petroleum Corporation. The chairman of Litrogas rejects the allegations made by some groups on the tender procedure on importing gas. The ambassador of Norway meets the Prime Minister. A special audit will be conducted regarding the malpractices that have occurred when purchasing coal. Foreign news, Cambodian Prime Minister says that China-ASEAN economic cooperation brings about fruitful results. News in detail. A discussion was held recently to obtain support for necessary finance and loan structuring to import fuel to the Petroleum Corporation. Minister Kanchana Wijesekara said that a discussion was held with the Bank of Ceylon in this regard. State Minister D.V. Chanaka, the Secretary to the Ministry of Power, the Chairman of the Bank of Ceylon and the officials of the corporation were present at the discussion. The Petroleum Corporation said that payments have been made for 3 fuel ships that were anchored in the sea limit in the country. Unloading of fuel of 2 ships has already commenced. The corporation said that it includes 37,000 metric tons of diesel, 100,000 metric tons of crude oil and 20,000 metric tons of petrol, and these will be distributed daily, island-wide. The chairman of Litrogas, Mudita Piris, said that he will reject the allegations made by some groups on the tender procedure on importing gas. The gas queues, which were experienced during the past few months, were solved gradually after distributing the 6,975 metric tons of gas that were imported last June. He made these remarks participating at the Dasadesin Hatha program of the SLBC today. This news broadcast comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. Although Norway will close down its embassy in Colombo next year, the development assistance under NORAD and NORFund and other forms of aid will continue. This assurance was given by the Norwegian ambassador Trine Jornali Eskelad, who called on Prime Minister Dinesh Gunawardena at the Prime Minister's office yesterday. The Prime Minister thanked the envoy for support to Sri Lanka for a period of over 60 years, which began in the 1960s through NGO cooperation in the fisheries sector. In 1976, Norway initiated the government-to-government development cooperation in which an integrated rural development program in the southern district of Hambantota became the flagship. The Prime Minister urged Norway to consider investments in the fisheries, renewable energy and agriculture in addition to the information technology and marine and ocean sciences. The Auditor General's Department says that a special audit will be conducted regarding the malpractices that have occurred when purchasing coal. The Auditor General WPC Wickramaratne said that the investigation will be conducted according to a request made by the Parliamentary Finance Committee. It hopes to issue the final report of it. Although the suppliers have agreed to supply coal, it was obstructed due to the dollar crisis. However, 2.5 million metric tons of coal have been ordered for next year. The airport police says that several goods that were brought without tariffs have been taken into custody. Among the goods were gold, smartphones and a stock of phone equipment. 3 women have been taken into custody in this regard and they were residents of Giriyulla, Maravilla and Hambantota. Further investigations will be conducted into the incident. And that ends local news for now.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
In the main news story, the Finance Committee has approved to provide a fertilizer subsidy of 20,000 rupees per hectare for the farmers who intend to use organic fertilizer in the Maha season cultivation. The Minister of Agriculture has recommended to use 70% of chemical and 30% of organic fertilizer in the Maha season. Participating in a program of the United Nations Food and Agriculture Organization, Minister Mahinda Amaravira said that the government will allocate 16,000 million rupees for the provisions, and that was the main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
Moving on to Watchlight. The Controller General of the Department of Immigration and Immigration says that although September 19th, Monday, has been declared as a government holiday, passports will be issued under one-day and normal services for the applicants who have already made appointments. And that was Watchlight. Moving on to a bulletin of world news. The Cambodian Prime Minister says that China-ASEAN economic cooperation brings about fruitful results. The US researchers developed a method to identify future SARS-CoV-2 mutations affecting rapid antigen test. World's oldest heart found in prehistoric fish. Cambodian Prime Minister Smet Teko Hun said that today the China-ASEAN economic cooperation has accomplished many fruitful achievements since the two sides signed the ASEAN-China Framework Agreement on Comprehensive Economic Cooperation in 2002 and other free trade and investment agreements. In a speech delivered via video link to the opening of the 90th China-ASEAN Expo, Hun Sen said the two sides had successfully implemented the China-ASEAN Free Trade Agreement version 1 and 2 over past years, and that Cambodia supported upgrading this agreement to the new version 3. US researchers have developed a method to evaluate how mutations to SARS-CoV-2 can affect recognition by antibodies used in rapid antigen tests, according to a release of the US National Institute of Health yesterday. A new variant of the SARS-CoV-2 virus continue to emerge. Concerns have been raised about the performance of rapid antigen tests. The research team funded by the NIH has shown that commercially available rapid antigen tests can detect past and present variants of concern and has identified potential mutations that may impact test performance in the future. Researchers have discovered a 380 million-year-old heart preserved inside a fossilized prehistoric fish. They say the specimen captured a key moment in the evolution of the blood-pumping organ found in all backboned animals, including humans. The heart belonged to a fish known as the gogo, which is now extinct. The jaw-dropping discovery published in the journal Science was made in Western Australia. Back to the headlines of the world news. The Cambodian Prime Minister says that China-ASEAN economic cooperation brings about fruitful results. The US researchers developed a method to identify future SARS-CoV-2 mutations affecting rapid antigen tests. World's oldest heart found in prehistoric fish. And that ends the world news. On to development news. An expansion program is underway to safeguard the environmental network in the vicinity of rivers and lagoons in the Galle district. Under this program, several projects have commenced at the Kogala Lagoon, initiated by the Ministry of Environment in the southern province. And that was development news.
Sports News is brought to you by...
With many values that bind us beyond the transaction, we are Sampath Bank. We present your future.
Today is the final day of the Sir John Talbot Athletic Meet being held at the Diagama Mahinda Rajapaksa Playground. 6 records have been reported in many events by some school athletes. And that was Sports News.
The fastest way to earn the highest interest from NSB, now extended till the 30th of September just for you. Your short-term deposits receive an attractive interest rate of 20% in 3 months and 22% in 7 months. Visit a bank branch or a main postal office today. NSB, the only bank with 100% government guarantee.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
A program will be implemented to increase the export income in the country. The objective of this move is to produce high standard products with the use of modern technology and to provide knowledge required for the export sector. Attention has already been paid to enhance the relationship with the exporters and the rural industrialists. And that was Business News.
Business News, Sponsored by
The fastest way to earn the highest interest from NSB. Now extended till the 30th of September just for you. Your short-term deposits receive an attractive interest rate of 20% in 3 months and 22% in 7 months. Visit a bank branch or a main postal office today. NSB, the only bank with a 100% government guarantee.
Economic news, courtesy of...
Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibility. That's why we promise to give you the best returns and guarantee on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001, is rated SLA stable by ICRA Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act number 42 of 2011.
In economic news, marking a new benchmark in the SME sector, Sri Lanka's leading private sector bank HNB PLC partnered with ECTE Hong Kong Limited to offer local business equity funding facilities and access to new marketplaces in Hong Kong, Dubai and Singapore. And that was economic news.
LOLC Finance is taking the power of innovation to the next level, winning 5 golds at the Technovation Awards 2022, leading the digital revolution with cutting-edge interbanking digital payments. LOLC Finance claims the overall gold award whilst also claiming an extraordinary victory in digital banking. LOLC Finance will continue to innovate with the next generation digitalization of financial services, delivering a superior customer experience.
On to the weather report. The Met Department says that a few showers will occur in the Western and Sabragambo provinces and in the Kandy, Nuwara Eliya and Mathura districts. Mainly fair weather will prevail elsewhere over the island. And that was the weather report. And prior to concluding, let's take a look at the headlines again. A discussion was held recently to obtain the support for necessary finance and loan structuring to import fuel to the Petroleum Corporation. The chairman of Litrogas rejects allegations made by some groups on the tender procedure on importing gas. The ambassador of Norway meets the Prime Minister. A special audit will be conducted regarding the malpractices that have occurred when purchasing coal. And in foreign news, Cambodian Prime Minister says that China-ASEAN economic cooperation brings about fruitful results. And with that, we end this news broadcast from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.